Hello, everyone, and welcome back to FinStep Asia and MEDICI present FinTech leadership at the time of COVID-19. The last 2 months have been pretty different for a majority of the world, with lockdowns covering more than 60 to 70% of the world's population. This has also impacted FinTech businesses as well as customers that they're servicing globally. Today with us, we have Mariano Spalletti, who is from Qonto, and we'll be talking to him more about how Qonto has been dealing with COVID-19 and how Mariano's experience has been leading his team at this time of crisis. So, Mariano, welcome to our webinar series. A pleasure to have you on board.
Thank you for having me.
Great. How about you make an introduction about Qonto to our global audience, and then we can get into a few questions we have for you on that.
Definitely. So first of all, again, thank you for having me. I'm Mariano Spalletti. I'm the country manager Italy of Qonto. Qonto is a neobank focused on the small, medium businesses and freelancers segment. And what we do is we offer a business account that enables companies and entrepreneurs to save a huge amount of time on a daily basis when it comes to business company payments and team expenses management. The company was launched in 2017 by Alex Pro and Steven Avi, and it was launched in France, but in less than 3 years, we are now scaling in 3 other countries, that are Italy, Spain, and Germany. And we have acquired so far over 75,000 business customers. Let's say that our strength, the simplicity, because we have a great UX, is a tailor-made product, because we enable business to have tailor-made features that actually answer to the specific needs, and we have a great customer service which is really responsive, and it has a really high level. All these at fair prices.
Right. So Mariano, my question to you is that I think SME segment as such has been sort of neglected by the banks for a very long time, and we have seen some very interesting SME neobanks in different parts of the world. For example, in India, there is a company called Open, which is quite popular. And similarly, I think what you are doing is sort of great. You are the country manager for Italy. So, which is the biggest market for the company, and how, where does Italy figure in this?
Well, let's say that, as you were saying, small, medium businesses have been neglected for quite a long time. It's a quite big niche. I wouldn't even call it niche. It's really big market. So if we look at the Italian numbers, for example, we have 4.5 approximately small, medium businesses, 4.5 million. So that means that the market is huge, and it's more or less the same situation. If you look at France, we have 4 million of small, medium businesses, but also in Germany, in Spain, we have a lot. So the market segment is really wide. And yeah, what we're trying to do is to disrupt to this kind of sector, providing really tailor-made features, as I was saying before. And yeah, let's say that we do have some differences comparing to other competitors that are tackling the same segment. And yeah, we're trying to, let's say that, to keep our scalability in our model, because we want to expand Qonto in as many countries as we can in the shortest period of time possible. But at the same time, we want to localize the must-have feature, or the feature that can give us a strong competitive advantage in every country. For example, in less than 1 year after the launch, both in Italy and Spain, we've already deployed the local IBAN, which was a really demanded feature from those markets.
Mm-hmm. One of the things that I've seen where SME neobanks differentiate from regular banks is that it takes very less time to open an account, right? And then we have seen also other things like how deeply accounting and finance is integrated within the banking. So can you describe a little bit about these two things and any other unique features that you have?
Yeah, as I was saying, two of the advantages that we have is that we are really simple to use. We do have a user experience which is really high. This is something to which entrepreneurs are not accustomed. So my previous experience was I had launched my first startup, And when for the first time I had to use a business account, I was astonished because I couldn't believe my eyes that it was such a poor service offered to the company. So what we've done has been to develop a business account that has a user experience which is comparable to the highest standard in the market, already developed in the B2C segment. And of course, we do have some specific features, as I was saying, that enables you to handle more easily your team expenses overall, because the account, of course, is multi-user, multi-card. And then we do also have some system that enables you to deal more easily with your accounting and bookkeeping. And we also have, of course, APIs that enables you to link directly from your accounting tool and to extract data and receipts of your expenses.
So how long does it take for a company to open an account, on your platform?
I lost you, but I think you're talking about the time needed to open an account. Is that the question?
Yeah, correct.
Approximately it's 15 minutes.
15 minutes. Okay. And what's your business model like? Like how do you charge your customers? How do you make money?
In general, we do have two big segments, which are the monthly fees, monthly recurring fees for the plan, and then we have the variable that we just earn when you use your card, the interchange. These are the two big groups.
Right.
And this is something, of course, sorry if I interrupt. This is something also that enabled us to be really solid and to face really solidly also this period of the impacted by the coronavirus, of course.
And so my question was actually going to follow up on that. In countries like Italy, India, etc., where there's a lot of informal economy in place, a lot of merchants struggle to get bank accounts because lack of documentation, etc. And with the lockdowns as severe as they have been, right? In Europe, it started off with northern Italy and then spread to the rest of Europe in terms of the lockdowns. So how have you seen businesses respond, to your business model in terms of picking up bank accounts? And secondly, during COVID, how have they responded? Have you seen more coming on board, or have you seen business activity reduced significantly because of COVID-19 and not much signups in the meanwhile?
Yeah, I would say that in general, we've kept growing during the coronavirus crisis in all the countries. We've kept acquiring new customers, and this is probably linked to the fact that the traditional banks have not being, let's say, prepared to face this crisis, and they didn't, and to ensure, let's say, the continuity of their services during this period. Also, when it came to customer service and customer support, for example, they were overloaded with the management and with handling the loans requests for all this period. So even if you try to open a new business account, it was impossible. So that's why, for example, I'm focusing especially in Italy. It was a really good period. So if we take into consideration the 2 month period of March and April, we acquired 55% more customers compared to January and February, for example. So that's a number. And yeah, and besides this, also our business model, as I was mentioning before, is pretty solid. So instead of compared to some other startups that just rely on variable fees, for example, and of course we faced a physiological decrease in terms of transaction in this period, the offline transaction, the usage of physical card. We do have a solid business model that relies also on monthly fees that just, let's say, ensure us a strong and solid part of recurring fees month per month. So we didn't have huge problems to face this crisis period.
So when you have, sorry, go on.
One issue that some of the people who are very familiar with the SME neobanks and have been users, in one of the discussions it came out that one of the issues is, as compared to larger banks who have been operating SME bank accounts, is that apart from the UX UI and being able to open an account quickly and all of that, I think SME customer is also looking for slightly more, sort of compliance-oriented things. For example, in one case in Asia, the customer was looking for a FIRC certificate, a foreign inward remittance certificate, and the neobank actually, nobody in the bank had actually any clue about what an FIRC certificate is. So when it comes to large transactions, when it comes to compliance, when it comes to any regulatory support required? Do you think you guys are ready to sort of handle those kind of customers as well?
Yeah, what I will say is that in general, Qonto was one of the first movers in Europe to launch this business model and to target this segment. Of course, this is a segment that has a lot of needs in general. What we are doing is we are reshaping indeed the landscape of the banking landscape for small medium enterprises, and of course we cannot tackle all the problems right now. And we are working to make the product as complete as possible in the shortest period of time. And then, as I was mentioned before, every country has a different specific need, So the localization, so to keep scalability while trying to localize the top 3 features, for example, that are needed to acquire, 80% of the market, because it's always a Pareto, It's is the most important. And we keep learning. So every market that we launch, we learn about the customers, and we put in place new processes to being able to reply to give an answer to those needs. So I think that your question is this one, and my answer is yes, we are doing that, but there's still a lot of things to do that we keep doing day by day.
And in each of the countries, you are basically partnering with a different bank, because I believe you don't have a license of your own, right? So are you, for the backend, are you partnering with a different bank in each country, or it's across EU, just one bank that you're partnering with?
Oh, let's say that we partner with Bank Arkea in here, and with BNP for certain kind of services, but in general, the backend has been developed in-house. So we've developed our own core banking system, and this is another differentiation that we have to, let's say, many of our competitors, that gives us a lot of control, but also flexibility at the same time to do whatever we want, whenever we want, let's say.
But for the license, you are just working with one bank across the EU region.
We're working with Arkea in this case.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay. My next question is with regards to, you mentioned about the jump in numbers as compared to previous months to COVID, 55%. That's a pretty significant jump in numbers, especially we're talking about a few thousand new customers. At the time of COVID, what we've seen for a majority of companies has been that they've paused their hiring or they have furloughed people, right? So in such an environment where, the economic scenario is slightly dodgy, how have you responded to the staffing needs when you're building out, especially when hiring can't be done as efficiently as was previously, and when you're dealing with the BCP situation? So very curious to know how you guys have dealt with the growth and how your teams have been performing in this time of extreme scale as well as uniqueness.
I'd say that in general, we haven't struggled that much neither from an operational perspective nor from a project management perspective. What I think, so in general, all of our tools are, of course, online. We are a digital company, so we use internal tools that are online. We have sales and distribution channels that are online. Our IT structure is also on AWS, so it's highly scalable and is in cloud. Project management as well, we do have the Qonto way, which is a method that we use to tackle problems and to solve them straight away and to provide quality in time. And indeed, the people management probably was the most delicate part, as you were pointing out. Let's say that also having raised in January 104 million with our round C helped us a lot, along with our business model, which is pretty solid, as I was saying, to keep going like this, to keep all the salaries and on the bonuses, and to keep growing also in terms of hirings. Of course, it was pretty challenging to onboard new Qontoers during this period, because a fully online onboarding is really challenging. You really need also to deep dive in the company culture during the first days, during the first weeks. But yeah, in general, we've kept growing, and we haven't faced so many challenges, or at least we've been able to tackle them quite brightly, I'd say.
So what's been your philosophy when it comes to staff people management, right? Are you hosting more meetings together? Are you having more lunch at work together with everybody on the screens? Is some of the things that have happened. So what has been, I think, the leadership style will be something that other fintechs could probably learn from. So it would be great to hear what you have done.
I think that the most important part has been the people motivation, during this period and giving people visibility on what was going on, because everybody was, let's say, worried about a lot of companies fired also employees. So our employees were thinking about what's going to happen tomorrow with Qonto. What are we doing to tackle these problems? And what we've done has been to put in place daily meetings, to have a daily touch point with all the teams to make sure that they were okay, both physically and mentally. And then Alex and Steve, that are the two co-founders, let's say, besides the monthly recurring events that we have to give visibility to all the company, they also decided to launch always on a monthly basis, also an Ask Me Anything, so that they could have a bi-weekly touch point with the whole company, and the founders could give direct replies and direct visibility on the, let's say, on the big picture of the company. This gave a lot of visibility and a lot of energy and motivation to the whole team.
Okay.
And Mariano, congratulations on a big fundraise in January of about 104 million euros. There's an Asia connection also there, because one of the investors seems to be Tencent. And so my question was that, how is the company planning to use this massive amount of money that you have raised earlier this year?
Yeah. As usual, let's say that the biggest investment will always be in product and international expansion. So, as you know, a big part of we are a tech company, no? And a big part of our hirings are focused on tech people, project manager, product manager, developers, and so on and so forth. So we really want to make a difference in terms of product, which is already super performing. But on the other hand, we're scaling fastly in as many countries as we can. We've tackled with a good success Italy, Spain, and Germany, and we want, of course, this let's say this impacts two sides, which are marketing, to better, let's say, to have as much traction as you can to analyze your customer and understand their behavior, what they really need, and on the other hand, to, of course, trying to adopt the product as fast as you can.
Right.
Great.
And then, of course, excuse me, if to add something, another big priority and challenge for this year for us will be to get the credit institutional license. And of course, we will have to invest money, time, resources to make that done.
And our licenses are never easy, right? You have to get them. All the additions are not just the cost, the regulatory elements that come forward. Mariano, thank you so much for taking out time. We deeply appreciate you being here. We as MEDICI and FinStep Asia have also been running virtual FinTech internships, online FinTech internship for students globally. Some of them already been onboarded. We may run a second round soon. So do let us know if Qonto are looking for interns. And if not through us, they can definitely, our audience members who are students could probably reach out to you for internships.
Definitely. We can keep in touch anytime.
Yeah. Great then. Thank you so much again. And pleasure having you on our webinar. Thank you.
Thanks for your time.
Thank you. Have a good week and talk soon. Bye, guys.